so excited to introduce my last team that was in Rwanda and serving the Anglican Church in the Southern Province in this past March and beginning of April. And so I'm going to introduce them, and we're going to go backwards. So I'm going to talk at the end, and I'm going to let them talk first. And so Emily and Jordy actually were engaged to be married when they went on this trip. And now they've been married. And so you guys can give them a clap for that. That's what we do. And Emily actually works for the church with high school ministry. So I'm going to let them share for just a minute and let them tell you what it meant to go to Rwanda and then to find out what God has done in their life by that opportunity.
Hi, I'm Jordy. This is my first time being back in this tent, this room, since our wedding reception. It was a blast.
Yeah.
So we found out about this trip like kind of last minute. My boss came into my office one morning and was like, "Hey, are you and your fiance interested in going on a missions trip?" And I said yes. And he's like, "Great, it's in 6 weeks." It was awesome to see how God was faithful in helping us to raise funds. It was kind of mind-blowing. We're like, okay, God's for real. So in a really short amount of time, God was faithful and was able to provide funds for us to go on this missions trip. And so we both had some experience working in coffee, which we didn't think would ever bring us to Rwanda, but God's got cool ideas. So there's a coffee shop that we helped start in Rwanda that's it's up and running. People are buying drinks. Probably right. What time is it over there right now?
9 hours later.
So they're waking up and
they're waking up and getting coffee. And so we went over there for 10 days in March, which was an awesome experience in so many ways. I think there were a lot of things I learned. So I think that for myself, I learned that I don't need to have really any sort of special training. I don't need to have some skill at the top of my list that's like missions worthy. Like I can build anything out of wood. Like I don't have anything like that. But I do have just past experiences, a love for people and a love for God. And what happens is that when you show up, God uses that. And it was interesting to see the Rwandan people and how just being who we are and bringing Jesus to them and how he manifests through us can really influence their lives. And what Skip's been doing over there, Skip's an incredible leader. He is constantly manifesting really is what Jesus has called us to be, and dying to himself. He was sick half the trip and was somehow still leading us all. More than half the trip. He was unable to stand up, but was still leading. And I think what's been really cool to see is in the people, to see how they have an awakened sense of purpose and a drive to serve God and love others and to be fruitful in their lives when they have people who believe in them. And that's what's really cool about the coffee shop, is that we're saying, get behind the counter and work. These kids who are in their late teens, so it's too late to go to school, but they haven't gone to school, but who are getting work experience, who are doing stuff and finding purpose in their life and doing work that's worthwhile and helpful to others. And just because people believe in them. They have church backing them. They have Saddleback Church backing them. They've got Skip over there, and they had us there. People believing in them, believing that they could do something. And so I think that was a really awesome thing to see that I could be a part of that in helping people's lives and just helping people.
Cool. Gosh, there's so many things that we could talk about. There's so many cool things about the trip, from how the 6-week plan to just being there. I think probably most of you have been to one-on-one, and like I just think of how when we got this property, how Rick talks about how it was on like this perfect corner of like all these cities and just this perfect location. And I feel like even to start, that's how the coffee shop is. It was like on this well-traveled road that kind of at the middle of all these. There's like a college nearby and a church down the street. And when we found out, this was so fun. So we would sit out on the patio of the coffee shop, and what we'd find out, there were these YWAM students there that were working on a coffee, we call it a coffee farm, up the street. So we didn't know that was there until we met them, because God's really nice and brought them into our path. And so we were like, well, that's really cool. There's like coffee being harvested right up the street. Didn't even know that. And then we just had, there was these German girls who were working at a hospital nearby, and they came. And so it felt just like so much fun to meet people from all these different countries at the coffee shop. And I feel like that's something really cool about coffee. I know that's not like necessarily a specific initiative that we've talked about, but even in America, obviously, coffee like brings people together. And I feel like it was so fun to see that happening in Rwanda, that like coffee was merging people that were in Rwanda to serve at a hospital, or people that were there to serve at a coffee farm, or photographers, or just all sorts of different people were here because we had a project we could work on together. And so it was just cool to see the way the Lord provided. And kind of Dory touched on this, but I think what was really, really fun to see, I'd been to Rwanda before, but my experience in high school was a little different than this one. To go with like a specific project in mind was really empowering. I really liked that model. But yeah, it was so cool to see that Skip had like raised up so many Rwandan leaders in that. Rwandese? What do you say? Rwandan? Okay, cool. But yeah, he had raised up all these leaders, and it was so cool to truly partner with them. Like, there was, I feel like if anything, I left so humbled. Like, oh, I'm just playing this tiny little part of like teaching them how to make a latte. Like, and they're killing it over here, just like running this place. And the Rwandan like manager that Skip has in place, and just our translator is an angel, literally. I think he's an angel. He's so kind. So it was just so fun. I think a lot of people say this when they come back from a trip, that like we were more blessed than we were a blessing. But like they truly, I just learned so much from them, and like just would watch the way that they were so committed to the project. And so I just think it's cool. Yeah, Skip's leadership is dope. And he's just raised up so many cool leaders. So I think getting to go there and empower them, but be empowered by the way that they are owning these projects in Rwanda is really cool. I think that's like a huge part of the peace plan that is just so cool, is that we're not like giving them a hand out, we're giving them a hand up. But I think they're giving us a hand up, really. So anyway, it was so cool. Did I say things that were cool? Did I like touch on some cool things? Okay, cool.
I told him, I said, just come up and be who you are. You guys are going to love you no matter what. So that's great. So, yeah, I just want to share a couple things about I've been going over since 2008. Larry has been my hero. Larry and Carolyn, they've paved the way and done water trips and savings group trips and every kind of trip. And I fell in love with the church, the Anglican church down in the South on my first trip. And so that's made a big difference. And I came here in 2005, came to Saddleback to celebrate recovery. So I came in, on the down end, barely making it through life and all those kind of things. And then in 2008, when Rick was doing one of his campaigns, he said, "Who would go with me? Who will go with me to Rwanda?" And this was after several years of being here, and I said, "I'll go." It could have been anywhere, but it was Rwanda. And going there, my first trip, going down to the South, working with the Anglican Church, falling in love with this little tiny ministry that they had back in the back room with these underserved kids, changed my life. And, Larry has 27 trips or whatever, and I'm trying to catch up with him, which probably never happened, but just finished number 16. And so I love Rwanda. I love the people. I love empowering people. I have a team there. It's amazing. We opened the coffee shop. These guys came over as baristas. I had not a clue. We were opening a coffee shop. I don't know who's going to run this thing. And 6 weeks before we left, we found two baristas to go with us. And so they opened the shop, and I was deadly ill, and I was not even in the town. And they opened the shop single-handedly with my friend Travis. And it's opening, running. It opened on April Fool's Day. Been operating for 6 months. We have 35 students upstairs learning art and sewing, and then also a Kazi Kanozi, which is a business training model. And then we have started out with 15 students downstairs. We graduated 8 students just the day before I left, interns in the coffee shop that actually we're hiring to be working for us. So now we have seen a whole cycle. It's such an amazing thing. We're making such a big difference working with the Anglican Church, and it's their mission and vision that has brought us to this place. And my whole project this time was to have the church take this project over and to own it. And when I left, they had signed on the dotted line saying, yes, we're taking this project over. You know, we wanted to have this thing sustainable and working and part of our mission and vision by December 31st. So, you know, there's a lot of opportunity over the next year and these next 3 months to support it both financially and in prayer, and keep praying for it. I'll be going, I usually spend a couple months there a year, and I'll be going back probably in November. So lots of opportunities, and like through water, through the different things, all those things can be used in what we're doing also. So if you feel called to come to the South, there's so many different opportunities just to come. And the one thing that my pastor shared, one of the pastors, Gil, Larry mentioned Gil Odendahl. When I went on my first trip, I went into his office. I said, what do I need to do? I'm a team leader, my first trip. What am I going to do? And he said, show up and love on the people. And for 8 years now, I've been showing up and loving on the people. I'm bringing other people to love on the people. And that's what it's about. It's been said many, many times tonight. And I will guarantee you show up, you're going to get more blessed than you think that you're going to give them. So, I'm thankful to be able to share with you. I'm excited on the future, what's going to happen with the initiative, with the poverty initiative, with what we're doing with the training center, what Nehemiah's Best Coffee as a generator and a sustainable project to keep this project running is going to do over this next year and for the future of so many underserved students and children in Rwanda. So thanks for letting us share. And these guys went great.